Hi, Coach. Good morning.
Good
You
morning.
talked earlier this season about how you have 8 servers that you trust, and I think so far the matches we've seen, success to the service line. What do you kind of attribute to the improvement from where you were last year or last season to where the group is now at the service line?
Well, we've worked hard on it. Some players have improved their serves. Now it's, can they do it under pressure and still attack with their serve? So we've put a lot of emphasis into it and trying to reward the people that do a good job with it. So that's all I can say. It's hard work and trying to make it important. We tell them every day it's important, most important drill that we do.
Is there a metric you look at to kind of evaluate the success they're having at serving?
There's a couple metrics. First of all, you look at aces to error ratio. That's the easiest. And then we have a way we stat their efficiency serving. So how tough it is, how does the other team pass it, and we have a efficiency rating that comes out of that, and we have a goal that we want to be at or above. So that's mainly the two ways that we evaluate serving.
Brent Wagner.
Yeah, with Kayla Caffey, you're making some changes with her, but what did you like that you had to work with once you got in the gym with her for the first time last summer?
Well, she's when she first got here, she wasn't ready to play. She'd been off, hadn't done much, so it's been a little bit of a long road back for her. But she's got a great arm and she's got great vision. And so that those things are hard to coach. I mean, she's got a lot of natural ability, and but those two things, vision and a great arm, are hard to coach, and we just got to figure out a way to take advantage of it.
What do you mean by great arm?
She has very fast arm. She can hit it all directions in different body positions, and so that's a great arm. It'd be like a baseball pitcher's got a great arm. He's got every pitch in there is and can do it well.
She's only about 6 feet. How does she still do what she does? Only being 6 feet in the Big Ten.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. But she's a dynamic jumper and very good athlete. So we're trying to train her how to block successfully in the Big Ten. So we'll see how it goes. But so far she's done some nice things.
Jacob Padilla.
You got 2 weekends in now. Is there any area in particular you're going to be watching closely as you head into Rutgers here that you want to see them take a step forward in?
Nope. Just continue to raise our level of play, make less errors, trust our training more, and improve their communication. Those would be the 4 things at the top of my list in practice today.
Lincoln Arneal.
You mentioned that Kayla had been off for a while. When did you first get her in your gym? When approximately did that happen?
Well, we didn't see her till we started in August, but she hadn't played in a long time. She didn't have a spring, so she just, that's when we first saw her. But she was way behind, And
was there anything? Go ahead.
Yeah, just that was how many months off, so anyway, she was way behind. So she's really improved over the course of the fall and going into the spring.
Was there anything, you mentioned that you had to change up her training. Was there anything that you thought that you could adapt or change to get her game to another level?
Well, blocking wise, there was a lot. And then attack wise is taking advantage of her speed. And she really didn't run much stuff behind the setter at Missouri off one leg. So we wanted to develop that because you have to be able to do that in the Big Ten. She's gotten really good at that, but she never did that. So there's a couple things, but trying to take advantage of her speed and her arm and her movement. Sometimes when you're a little smaller and faster, there's advantages of that as opposed to being taller and slower possibly.
Brent?
Yeah, the NCAA format for this season was announced last week. Just what are your initial thoughts on if you qualify having to play 5 matches maybe in less than 2 weeks?
Oh, I'm okay with that. I think that's fine. My biggest concern, well, I think it's great they're going to Omaha. It'll be a nice deal. They'll be able to put up all the teams and do a great job. My concern is, there's one arena, and then you've got this convention center. What are they going to do? What's the NCAA going to do to make it is not a club tournament where they just throw out some sports courts have these guys play on cement and, sport court laid over cement. So I hope they're going to build a stadium. I hope they're going to bring some wood floors in to put sport court, or they should put Terraflex over it and make many little arenas in there, to have, because I was figuring out, you have, I think, 16 matches the first day, so you're going to have to stagger them, and you probably need about 3 or 4 mini arenas in there to make it really nice. So that's what I hope they do. And in Omaha, we'll take care of the rest. Of the NCAA can step up and do a good job with that.
Have you heard anything about like what the format will be?
No. Well, I think there's 48 teams, so I think 16 have to have byes. You play 32 and go from there.
Were you involved in that at all, or did you advocate on behalf of Omaha hosting the entire tournament? Were you involved in that process?
Lincoln, nobody talks to me about that stuff. So, no, I was not.
Brent, are you on mute?
I'm surprised they let me talk about moving volleyball to spring permanently in the AVCA. That was historic right there.
Yeah, looking back to last week, it was interesting to hear you talk about Fred Hoiberg and Fred Hoiberg talk about your conversations. I guess, the past year, how much support have the head coaches been able to provide for each other, and how much have you been able to talk through different things with the various head coaches?
Well, I know on the women's side with Amy and Heather, Pablo a little bit, we've all had Zoom calls throughout the whole year, so we've all been pretty. We've probably interacted more than we ever have in a normal year. With the men's sports, everybody's in their bubbles, so you don't see anybody. But I'm paying attention to what's going on. I follow football. I was asking questions every week. In the football program, how they were doing things, what they were doing, how they were approaching breaks, and keeping the guys, here and safe and all that. So, I just try to study and learn, and we've had a few coaches we share ideas on the best way to do this stuff. So, but basketball was ahead of us, and of course football was ahead of everybody. So, I want to listen and learn as much as I can so we can avoid potentially making any mistakes.
What advice did you get from Fred to, hope to avoid what the situation they had the last month?
I mean, there were several things we talked about, but the key is, I think that the big thing was, this isn't an answer, but there's a lot we can't control, and you're trying to do your best, but there's a lot you can't control, and so that's the way it is, and try to take care of, try to make it as safe as we can.
You were a college basketball guy, and now you're a Nebraska guy. What did you think when Nebraska hired Fred a few years ago?
Well, I think he's got a great resume, and I'm surprised he left the NBA to come back here. I think the attraction of Nebraska, and he's a very confident coach. I love listening to him. He's really positive. I listen to his press conferences, and he's a Nebraska guy. And when you bleed Nebraska, and of course Coach Frost, and there's something to that, because this is a different place here. And there's no pro sports, and you got to understand the culture here and be able to embrace that. And so I think it's awesome. And
Lincoln Arneal.
You got a couple 3 p.m. starts this weekend, and then they just announced that Minnesota, a week from Sunday, moved up to 11. Do you like the earlier start times, and how does that affect kind of the game day routines when you have those earlier in the day start times?
Wow, they moved Minnesota even earlier. I like having a night game because I love the day routine. Playing at Rutgers, there I think it's 4 o'clock Eastern, which will be 3 o'clock here, which is when we practice every day. So that's good. It'll just the thing that throws it off is you got to go in the morning and test. So you got to get up early, and that's the one thing I don't like about this. So because we're getting up early, playing earlier is, I think, okay. And so I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Just don't have as much time to sit around and stew about things or work out. That's the negatives.